So many different times in my life, I've played with broken or hurt things, broken foot, broken leg, broken hand, broken arm, broken sternum, broken collarbone. I could keep going if I just thought more about bones. Why, man? Because I loved it. I loved playing the game. I was passionate about it. One of the reasons I even get encouraged at seeing all of you here. Do you know why I get encouraged by that? Is because you could be anywhere doing a lot of different things, but you chose to be here.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. In a world filled with endless opportunities, why would two men who have built 13 multi-million-dollar businesses altruistically invest 5 hours per day to teach you the best practice business systems and moves that you can use? Because they believe in you. And they have a lot of time on their hands. They started from the bottom, now they're here. It's the Thrivetime show starring the former U.S. Small Business Administration's Entrepreneur of the Year, Clay Clark, and the entrepreneur trapped inside an optometrist's body, Dr. Robert Zuttner. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here.
Mr. Clyde started from the bottom, and now we're at the top, teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of 5, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the CNC up on your radio, and now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here. Now we here.
All right, Clay.
Yep, what up?
We're talking about networking today.
Boom.
And the topic that we're focusing on is how giving to others first is important.
True that.
Give to others first.
Yeah.
And we all like to receive gifts and services.
Did you like your birthday gift?
I was just hoping I did.
Okay.
That was one of the weirdest birthday notes. The gift was a book, and on the cover it said, "Happy birthday, Caleb. Get back to work now." That was it. That was my birthday note. I loved it. It was very catchy.
It came from a real place.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Okay.
It was great.
Good to see
but
you.
people love to see, love to receive gifts, love services when you present a value. They love that.
They do.
And that builds rapport.
Bam.
Right? And you believe that that's something people need to plan out and then do every time they're networking.
This is sort of a crazy power, and I don't want to get too off it here, but I want to throw it out here for you. The law of reciprocity, as defined by Napoleon Hill, is unbelievable.
Break that down again.
The law of reciprocity, as defined by Napoleon Hill, is unbelievable. Here's what happens is that unless you have a hole in your soul, if you throw a gift to somebody and you exceed their expectations and you wow them and you give them not flattery but a sincere gift and a compliment and a verbal bouquet of celebrating their life and achievements, and you help them and they feel inside this inner like gravitational pull pulling them back to you. They have to reciprocate. They're like, God, I feel like so you don't believe me? Check this out. My son is 6.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happens is he's going to turn 7. Mm-hmm. What'll happen is people will send out invites to the party. So let's say all my son's friends, their names are Jackson for some reason. Okay. All of his friends are Jackson. But anyway, so you invite the Jacksons to a party.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you what, when the Jacksons are planning their kids' party, they're going to be like, we should probably invite Aubrey too, because he invited us. Yep. Thus reciprocation. You go, well, we're talking about parties, we're not talking about business. No, in business, the same thing happens.
Yeah.
Well, this law, you see it in the life of kids' birthday parties.
Okay.
I'll give you an example. My daughter used to go to Metro Christian, which is a great school. Mm-hmm. And all of these girls, they invited my daughter to this party. Mm-hmm. And this one girl, she has a massive birthday party. And she invites all the girls to come to her party. She's like 5 or 6. Well, then we're playing at my daughter's party. I don't even know these kids. And we're like, I think we should invite this kid and that kid, because after all, they did invite us to their party.
Right.
And unless you have a hole in your soul, you're going to want to reciprocate.
Yeah.
That's how it works. So the whole idea is that you can activate the law of reciprocation by doing unto others first what you'd have them do unto you later.
And can you find this in Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich?
Well, Napoleon Hill has these books. They're called the Laws of Success,
Okay.
which are kind of a, it's right here, the Laws of Success.
Okay.
And these books here, I mean, you talk about, I mean, this book, every time I read this book, it's sort of,
What is it like?
oh my gosh, I mean, it's powerful. And he lays it out here. He says the power that can bring you whatever you want on the earth, the mastermind. And he talks about building a network here. And this book, I'm not kidding you, like every time I read it, like if I read this book, I will make immensely more money that you, like I have to just put it down because it's like,
Too much money.
literally, it creates so many opportunities,
Yeah.
and I do it, and it keeps me busy for a year. So this book here, I'm just going to let you marinate on this cover here for a minute, but it's unbelievable, the power in this book.
I love it. Well, I read an article on entrepreneur.com,
Yeah.
and it was talking about this networking thing, just that we're talking about. I'm helping other people, it'll come back to you.
Yeah.
They said, the best way to create a great network is to be open and authentic in your daily dealings with people. Strive to help others yourself, and it'll come back to you tenfold.
Talk about this open thing.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times people are trying to be professional.
Yeah.
And professionalism, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
So I see people at chamber events, and you meet them, and you say, hey, how are you? And the person says, I'm doing fine, how are you? And you're like, well, good, doing great. So where are you from? I am from Tulsa. I have a master's degree from Oklahoma State University, and I specialize in helping families. And our little association, we're about people. And you're like, okay, well, great. So you have any kids? Well, I prefer to just focus on my business. And our business, we've been around since 1972.
There's nothing you can go off
and
in
you're
the
like,
conversation there.
you're not even real.
Yeah.
People want real talk. So when people ask me, they say, hey, what's up? Who are you? I say, my name's Clay Clark. I'm America's most pale man. And I actually am a hand model in a lot of the Swedish publications.
That immediately breaks down everything people are used to having, in the typical encounter.
Yeah, they're like, so you're a hand model? Like, no, I just said that, but I seriously, I've been in a lot of feature films. And then they're like, what feature films? Such as, too many to name really, but and you keep having fun with people, and they realize this guy's fun.
Yeah.
But if you're not like a comedy person, if that's not your deal, you can still be memorable. And they say, how are you doing today? Right. Instead of just giving that like, again, being open.
Right. Instead
of giving that generic blasé, I'm doing fine. You need to say, this morning I woke up at 7:03. And I had a great coffee from Starbucks, and I can tell you what, I'm having a great day.
Yeah.
Give them some real, tell them what's going on.
Chet Holmes talks about this in his book, Ultimate Sales Machine. He talks about how his boss was overbearing. He was always talking about how you need to be professional, and he was saying that Chet Holmes was way too unprofessional because he was just relating with clients. And he said there was one day where he walked into the office and Chet was on the phone, and he said he was on the phone for an hour. And the boss would come in every 10 minutes or so, glaring at him like, get off. Because he said he thought it was a personal call. And that was the biggest client that company had ever brought in. And he said that he was able to do that by just being personal, by just being real and open.
I have one guy that I work with whose name I shall not give out for this training. Okay. And every time that he's a very serious person. Yeah. Every time he texts me something that he wants our company, we help his company. We do marketing consulting and growth consulting for companies. And every time he texts me an action step he wants to get done, I always tell him that I understand what he really means. And I understand his code. Okay. So every time he's like, hey, could you update our Facebook? I'm like, I understand your code. I type it.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I don't know what you're talking about because all I want to do is update my Facebook. And I'm like, hey, even I have boundaries, okay? So I know what you're talking about, but I'll keep our little secret. And he's always like, what are you talking about? So every time I see him, we're always talking about the code and the secret, and it's just ridiculous.
So don't get too hung up on being professional and lose a personality that people can relate with.
We don't like anyone that we don't like.
Right. That's deep. Stop. What did you say?
I'm saying we don't like anybody that we don't like. Think about this. When you go out in business, if you're going to buy from someone, you're not going to go buy from someone that you don't know and you don't like.
Right.
And you buy from people you like and trust. Like and trust. So don't in your attempt to be likable, don't lose trust.
Right.
But what I'm saying is people don't want to do business with people that they don't like.
Right.
It's massive. You got to be focused on that.
You know, we talked a little bit about just being open there.
Yeah.
And in that quote there from entrepreneur.com, it talked about striving to help others first. Dale Carnegie also talks about the importance of showing interest in people, just caring about them. He says, you can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you.
A cautionary tale is if you're an alpha, if you're a driver, a lot of times people start a business because they're the kind of person who is just hyper motivated. You have to be very careful because if you don't have deep impact connections, you won't grow your business. So just as an example, most people, we have these areas here, you have these acquaintances, and an acquaintance is someone that you just know on sort of a superficial level. And then over here, this is a relationship.
Right.
And what happens is on the surface area, if you just meet somebody and they say, how are you? And you say, fine. Hey, it's great.
Yeah.
How are you? Hey, great to see you. That's just like this superficial, it just kind of bouncing off the surface here. You're nothing really as big is happening. It just kind of bounces off. But if you can get down here a layer deep into the epidermis, you get layer deep there, and now you have it, and you say, hey, I would like to take you and your wife out to eat.
Whoa.
I would like to golf. I would like to take you out to eat. I would like to invite you to a party. When you have a big connection here, you remember these people and you have relationships forever. But you've got to connect with people on a deep level.
Right.
So you have to do it. And I know for me, I'm a driver, so I am not really, as a general rule, too relationship driven because I don't need relationships very much. Personally, I could be alone on a mountain and I'd be fine. But some people who are the better connectors, they do better at this naturally.
Like my wife.
Yeah, my wife's awesome.
Yeah.
My wife. So here's the thing, I want to tell you this, and I had to learn this. People's favorite topic is themselves.
Yeah.
And if you'll be sincerely interested in others, one, it makes you a better human. I've learned over time just to be a better human. No one wants to talk to the guy who's absorbed with himself.
No.
But if you can really mine in and take an interest in the other person, one, you have a much more rich and full life. But second, you can build those solid networking relationships that are going to last a lifetime.
So this topic of giving to others first, what are some examples of how you did that as you were building DJ Connection?
Well, I think what we have to do is we have to get real because we don't have a big budget.
Okay.
So let's just say
that's most entrepreneurs right now.
Yeah.
We don't have much time. We don't have a big budget. So how are we going to actually do this?
Well, in our country today, you have a little bit over 97% of all business owners have 10 employees or less.
Okay.
Some statistics will show 90%. Let's just say 90% of business owners have 10 employees or less. So let's say you have $10 you can spend on marketing. You can send a handwritten note.
Yeah.
Why? It's memorable, no one does it. It's awesome. Handwritten notes can absolutely make a deep impact.
And we have a whole episode dedicated to that. Go watch that.
Handwritten notes are awesome. Another thing you can do is you can take people out to coffee. And coffee, as a general rule, for $10 you can get coffee for you and somebody else.
Yeah.
So the note and the coffee is great. Also, you can send fun emails. Not like a ridiculous series of Chuck Norris jokes, but I'm saying an email with meaning.
Right.
It was awesome seeing you at the party. And hey, by the way, I just sent you my favorite recipe or something.
Yeah.
So you can do that. But the note, the coffee, these are things you can do. Other thing you can do is you can offer to do your service or product for free. So I know one lady, she has products that all the celebrities are wearing. It's called Rustic Cuff.
Yep.
And her name is Jill. And Jill Donovan has these awesome products that these celebrities are wearing.
Right.
And what she did is she was able to send these fabulous samples of her product to these celebrities. And it was a way for her to make a deep impact and connection. And now her products, she sells millions of dollars of products, but it's through those relationships.
So some specific action steps here for us watching. You're saying you can, we don't care if you just have $10 set aside to this. You can write a handwritten note.
You should write a handwritten note to every single human that you meet who you want to have a meaningful relationship with.
You can take them to coffee, dinner, lunch, something like that, depending on the budget.
Yep, boom.
And you can provide your service for free. That's something that initially we don't think to do all the time because you got to be making a profit.
Or a product. Now I know one guy watching this is like, hey, we make missile cones. You know, I can't send somebody a sample missile cone. I get it, but send them something. Send them a sample. Send them a product sample. Send them a brochure.
Yeah.
Send them. Just let them know you care.
Yeah.
Connect.
So tell me, how are you doing this today? We talked about DJ Connection a little bit.
Well, I just that went out this week. Hopefully, the guys don't see it before this comes out. But I just went out this week to a store, and I'm gonna get trying to get custom jerseys made for all the Thrive investors.
That's awesome.
Since I wear jerseys all the time, so it's like baseball jerseys, but it says their name on it, and then the number 15, and the logo says Thrive across the front. So all the investors, it'll say like last name Copeland on the back of the jersey with the number 15. So I'm trying to get that done. Send them all really cool hats and apparel, because these are guys who've invested in something they believe in, but we have to make a deep, meaningful relationship with these people.
Right. And now we've even had an episode talking about referrals, and this could fit under here as well. You're always thinking of ways to help that other person, and if you can refer business to them, I mean, that's huge, and then they're going to try to help you out in return.
I've been married about 12 years, almost 13 years, and I feel like I'm just now getting to about a B level. But one thing I do is I write down a lot of times on a sheet of paper before I leave when I'm on the phone with somebody.
Yeah.
And I'm writing down, like, what is one thing I could do for my wife today? One way to wow her. And I found that when I wow her, she always reciprocates. So it's just the idea of having that same relationship with the client. What can I do to wow them?
Right.
Everyone, who doesn't like a candy bar?
Right.
Who doesn't want like somebody just to show up at their office and give them a Gatorade with a ribbon on it? I mean, it's just, the point is you can wow people.
Yeah. And so if I'm an entrepreneur and you haven't quite convinced me yet that this is going to be worth my time, energy, and money, why is this something that I need to be doing? Why do I really need to be actively thinking of how I can help other people?
Well, one is that you need to probably open up page 138 of Napoleon Hill's book here.
Okay.
The Law of Success.
Law of Success.
You probably need to read this here. This is volume 2, the original unabridged.
Good.
And you probably need to just read this, or you need to realize that Ray Kroc, he says one of the important requirements for major success is being in the right place at the right time. But first we have to do something about it. You know, we have to do something about it. You realize that Andrew Carnegie says it's the connections, it's the mastermind that ultimately determines your net worth. There's endless writing about this. This is just the code. This is how it works. You have to have a network to be successful.
This is not just coming from Clay. It's coming from people that have proven that this is beneficial.
Yeah, although if it did come from me, I think that's a reliable enough of a source.
Stop there.
You just stop right there.
Okay, so action steps. What specific action steps would you look in the camera and tell these entrepreneurs to do right now?
Well, right now, what you're going to want to do is you are going to have to find a way specifically that you can afford to systematically give to others first.
Okay.
So you probably need to go ahead and get yourself 100 note cards. Go ahead and go to the local coffee shop, see if you can buy 100 coffees at a discounted price. Then you need to go out there and figure out something fun you can send to all your clients, and then see if you have a product sample or something you can send to them. And go ahead, the idea is make a decision right now that's scalable, make a decision that you can repeat over and over and over and over. And that way, every single time you build a good relationship or you want to, you'd have your go-to 4 or 5 moves.
Boom, that's helpful. And those are something you can do right now, today. Put it into action, it'll make a big difference.
You can do it. Put your back into it.
Perfect, thank you, Clay.
Yeah.
Clay?
Yes.
I always love being able to sit down with you and discuss these different topics. And today we're talking about networking.
Oh yeah, I love it.
And I know this is something that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
And I think you're pretty good at it.
Yeah.
Okay, I've seen you in action, networking with people. And I also know that this is something that many people struggle with.
Let me say this real quick. If you're not networking, you're not working. If you're not networking, you're not working. You got to network. If you're an entrepreneur, you got to network.
I see what you did there.
All right, well,
very clever. You're a clever man.
It took me about an hour and a half to come
He's
with
a
it.
very clever man.
Yeah.
Well, I read an article recently in Time Magazine that said, it was actually titled, "The Real Reason New College Grads Can't Get Hired." They said the Workforce Solutions Group at St. Louis Community College found that more than 60% of employers say applicants lack communication and interpersonal skills. 60%.
Not shocking.
Not shocking.
No.
That's slightly shocking to me.
Well, we interview people that graduate from college, or we interview people that haven't graduated from college.
Yeah.
We find that John Rockefeller has a quote where he says that he would pay more for a person who can, lead other men than he would for any commodity under the sun. And he'd pay more for the ability that, for someone who can lead somebody than for sugar and for coffee and that sort of thing. And it's because it's so rare. It's so rare, but yet it's the number one determinant on where someone can get in their career. So at college, they don't spend a lot of time on how to articulate yourself verbally, how to stand and present, how to lead, how to work with coworkers. They spend a lot of time on studying papyrus and Mesopotamia and cuneiform and a lot of humanities.
papyrus is
What
big in
were some
college.
classes you had? You had humanities.
It was papyrus.
Do you have social
multiple
science?
papyrus.
You have social. I mean, honestly, you had social science.
Yeah, you'll have those.
What was their class you had? American history. You have that one.
Yeah, you have all those different classes. I understand what you're saying.
And that'll help you close deals.
Yeah, that doesn't. You got to have this. So that's what we're teaching right now. Okay, we're going to give you 10 principles you can apply immediately.
Boom.
That will help you network. And this, like you're saying, this is vital. You have to know how to do this. All right. So we're calling this. It's one contact at a time. And that's what's cool about this is that people think. You go to these big networking events and I have to meet 100 people and you take it one at a time, right?
One at a time. The thing is, you want to have one. I want to make sure you're hearing this. It's better to have one deep, rich contact than it is to have 50, sort of superfluous, just surface contacts.
Right.
Paul Graham, he's the guy who helped. We started the company called Y Combinator. It's a group that helps startups grow.
That was Airbnb.
Yeah, he helped launch Airbnb and Dropbox, and he mentions a lot. He talks a lot about how it's better to be loved by 100 than to be just sort of known by 1,000,000. So when you go to these networking events, you're only there to meet one person. You're there to meet one person. If you get two, that's great. But you want to meet people and then find the right person you really want to connect with because you have to follow up. There's a lot of steps we'll teach you.
Boom. So we got 10 steps here, 10 principles.
Here we go.
And number 1 is produce a top 100 board and then be in the right place at the right time. So produce the top 100 board. That's from Chet Holmes' book. Okay?
Yeah, well, Chet Holmes wrote the book. Chet Holmes wrote the book called The Ultimate Sales Machine, where he really teaches you the specifics of how to keep track of your contacts. And if it's okay, I'd like to show the folks at home on my magical board here.
Jump up there.
Okay, sweet. So the thing on this board here, and I want to just encourage us, is that as we're starting a successful company, we're going to have to kind of do things differently than we've ever done things before if we want to get a different result. And what happens is typically you meet somebody at church or you meet somebody at let's say you meet somebody at a business event and they say, we should get together. And you say, we should. And then you say, I'll call you. You say, yeah, I will. And then we never call them.
Right.
What happens is when we take that business card, so I'm just going to draw this business card right here, okay? This is their name on it. We need to take it and immediately we need to write their name onto the board. So I'm going to make up a name. I'm going to say Sean. So we put Sean's name on the board, and then we want to immediately list what he does for a living. So I'm going to put Sean, he's in a banker, and I want to write down anything that I learned from him or about him. He went to OSU, and I met him at the Bixby Chamber event. And you're going to want to do this for everyone that you met. Well, why? Because you're going to forget, but the pen does not forget.
Right.
So you put them on the board, and the goal here is you want to have 100, and we call this the Dream 100. This is Chet Holmes' system, the guy who wrote The Ultimate Sales Machine. But it's a system that you can use anywhere. I've seen people who weren't even aware of Chet Holmes' system do this. But you want to make a list of 100 people. You want to take their business cards up here, and you want to add it into this board. Now, where's this board? This board needs to be a physical board. So just to give you an example.
Online, not up there and
yeah, and I want to maybe let me do this. I know I shouldn't go off camera, but I do want to go off camera. I'm going off camera.
Do it.
Going off camera.
We'll be right here waiting for you.
Yeah, I'm coming back. Okay, here we go. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. Okay, here we go. I'm coming back.
Can you even carry that?
I'm quoting Jay-Z right now. I'm bringing it back. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. Okay, here we go. I'm coming back.
Can you even carry that?
I'm quoting Jay-Z right now. I'm bringing it back. Bringing it back. Okay, here we go. All right.
What is this?
Right here. This right here is a Dream 100 board. Oh, yeah, Dream 100 right here. Boom. You see that?
Yeah.
Look at that.
That's
so
good.
can you read off all the columns real quick for the folks at home? Because I'm kind of
Well, unfortunately, you grabbed the blank one.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is cool. This is an example.
But that's how it looks. We have one that's filled up.
Yeah.
This just
but
happens to be the blank.
You have the publication, you have the contact name, you put all this stuff here. This is how you do it.
Right.
Because if not, what does this do? I'll tell you what you're going to do. If you don't have this incredible board, you're going to take this and you're going to put it here. You got this, it's like this weird organizing thing you bought. You got inspired one time. So you bought this board and you put it in here, and then inside you pull out this drawer right here and you put it in here, and then here you got your VCR remote in here, and you got some like weird, staples and organizers
that's where
and
everything
pins.
goes, where you don't
and then
quite
you
have
have the
a spot
business
for it.
cards
You get
from
all
last
this-
Thursday, and nothing gets done there.
No.
And they just die. It's just a hell for networking. So you want to get the stuff out of that hell and put it onto your board. If you don't make this board or something like it, you're going to fail.
So am I putting every name that I come in contact on the board, or
Every
just the people
dream contact.
Good.
Again, you only want to talk to ideal. That's a great question.
Yeah.
How do you strain your contacts and figure out what's worthy of going on the board? Well, I won't write it on the board unless it's an ideal and likely buyer. I repeat, an ideal and likely buyer.
So for you, when you were growing DJ Connection, who were some ideal and likely buyers that you had?
Well, one is Sean. I met Sean, and Sean was the head, I believe, of Citizens Security Bank at the time. And I remember thinking, gosh, if I could do all of his holiday parties, that would probably be 4 or 5 events a year.
Right.
Well, then I started thinking, well, gosh, I met this other person at this party, and I went to all these networking events. And I'm sitting next to one guy, he sells some sort of multi-level product, and I'm going, I don't know if he wants to work from home, be his own boss. Nothing against that. I'm just not going to probably get a lot of business from him.
Right.
I'm going to treat him with respect, but you know what? If I could get a hotel in Tulsa to refer me,
That's
so
huge.
I remember meeting this lady named, here it is, Miss Kirkstra. Trisha, oh come on. Trisha, if you're watching this, we had a great connection. She's a great lady, wonderful lady. Met her, and she was the head of the Renaissance Hotel.
Yeah, that's somebody worthy of the board.
So I put her on the board and met her, neat lady, and I made a note that she booked weddings. And this is how you do is you put them on your board, and you start to turn those thoughts into things. I'm just going to leave this behind us here.
Cool.
So it can sort of taunt us and sort of help us feel better about our mastery of networking. And then I'm going to move this light bulb to be on top of your. You always want one light bulb on top of your marketing board
always.
there. And we'll just let that
So
sort
the
of.
people going on the board are the people that specifically are likely buyers.
Yeah.
And they're the dream buyers. They're
Yep.
not just anybody. I know that we got a notable quotable here from Ray Kroc, the man that took McDonald's from the small little burger shop.
Small little burger shop.
And he grew it a little bit.
Just a little bit.
He grew it a little bit bigger than the small burger shop. He said the 2 most important requirements for major success are, first, being in the right place at the right time, and second, doing something about it.
Yeah.
This board is what helps us do something about the contacts we've made.
I would say, well, one is definitely the board, but the second, I think, happens before that, but the board.
Yeah.
I would have never met Sean had I had not signed up for my local Chamber of Commerce.
Good.
And this is not a Chamber of Commerce endorsement. This is not the Rotary's bad. I'm saying I've met great people at the Rotary, the Chamber, but I would never, I'm just talking real talk, I would never have met him because I don't go out. Look at my skin tone. I haven't seen the sun in like a decade.
It's true.
I don't go out.
No,
I go to work. I go home. So I had to say, I'm going to be at the Chamber of Commerce event because I have scheduled it.
Right.
And I went there because I knew I would meet people who are my ideal and likely buyers. So if you're watching this, ask yourself, what are some events that you could book in your schedule right now that you could go to that would be a wonderful opportunity for you to meet your ideal and likely buyers? Trade shows, chamber events, where could you go?
Good. So just to finish up this first principle, the action steps that we've touched on here is 1, create a physical board.
Boom.
To put these 100 dream buyers, likely buyers on. And then 2, make that list of dream and likely buyers.
This board should be so big that it taunts you. Look how big that is. It just taunts me. I mentioned one of my friends, multi-millionaire. I thought she was weird at first. She wrote her goals on her mirror every day. Wrote her goals in her car, on her dashboard. She had like a little sticker she put on her dashboard. She had it up on her mirror in her bathroom there. And I remember one time using one of the restrooms, and I saw her goals, and I remember being like, "That's weird." So I asked her. She's about 20 years older than me. I just saw in the mirror there your goals. Do you put those on every mirror? She's like, yeah, I put them every, anything I want to have happen in my life, I put it where I can see it.
I love that.
You have to make it transparent, make it real.
Good. So now we got principle number 2 here.
Boom.
On your way to becoming a networking guru. Number 2 is be memorable or be forgotten.
Okay, come on now.
Stand out in the crowd. If you're not memorable, you won't be remembered at all.
Absolutely.
You see, that's deep.
Well, let me hit on this real quick because I'm going to tell you something. You are a beautiful man. And I'm not just saying this because I think you're, because you work here.
You're just saying that because the cameras are on.
No,
So
if the cameras were off, I would say to you, you're a beautiful man. Let me say this, though. You, if we wanted you to stand out at the chamber event, what we could do, and this is just real, I always wear a red tie and blue suit. That's my move, So on my book, just came out, my book, I'm on there. I'm always wearing the same stuff. Well, Donald Trump, has that hair that's memorable.
I've seen it.
So we'd have to come up with like a super move, almost like one of those like video games where you have your own super move, like the secret power to win the next level. And we'd say your new move is your ponytail, Caleb. No, I know it sounded like I was laughing, but I wasn't. I was being serious.
Put a little ponytail right
It'd
here.
be like a single ponytail, Caleb.
ponytail.
And if you did that, like from Obi-Wan Kenobi, from the new Star Wars, where it was kind of we weren't really sure what was going on.
Sure.
If you have that single strand ponytail,
right off to the side.
people would be like, "Does that guy have a ponytail?"
That would be memorable.
But they would talk about it.
You would not forget that.
And I'll tell you, it was a story though. Because that's funny. Here's a real story. There was a group of guys in Tulsa who started wearing black top hats to every single chamber event. And their company was called Top Hat Chimney Sweeps.
Nice.
And they would clean out chimneys and every single networking event, they always wore top hats. And they would sit and they would come like 5 or 6 dudes would sit and they would never sit together. So you'd be at a chamber event with 20 tables and you'd look around and there's 5 to 10 dudes all at different tables.
And you immediately know where they're from, what they're doing, what they're about.
Absolutely. And you're looking at them, you're like, this is, and it's memorable.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not memorable, and I'm not ripping you or me, but if we go to the event and we just kind of fit in, we're not memorable. We have to be intentional. Steve Martin wore a white suit. If you read his book called Born Standing Up, he explains why he wore white suits. But he stood out. Who wears a white suit?
Nobody.
He did. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Craig Sager, he's the announcer for the NBA on TNT. He always wears those crazy bright suits. But it's because you want to stand out. Colonel Sanders, Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
You remember these people. Right now, if you're watching this, what does Abraham Lincoln look like? Yeah, you know what he looks like. We all do, because he had a brand.
Right.
Boom.
Makes sense.
JT, do you know what time it is?
4:10.
It's Tebow time in Tulsa, Jerusalem, baby. Tim Tebow is coming to Tulsa, Oklahoma. During the month of Christmas, December 5th and 6th, 2024, Tim Tebow is coming to Tulsa, Oklahoma in the 2-day interactive Thrivetime Show Business Growth Workshop. Yes, folks, put it in your calendar. This December, the month of Christmas, December 5th and 6th, Tim Tebow is coming to Tulsa, Oklahoma in the Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive business growth workshop. We've been doing business conferences here since 2005. I've been hosting business conferences since 2005. What year were you born?
1995.
Dude, I've been hosting business conferences since you were 10 years old. And a lot of people, have followed Tim Tebow's football career on the field and off the field. And off the field, the guy's been just as successful as he has been on the field. Now, the big question is, JT, how does he do it?
Well, they're going to have to come and find out because I don't know.
Well, I'm just saying, Tim Tebow is going to teach us how he organizes his day, how he organizes his life, how he's proactive with his faith, his family, his finances. He's going to walk us through his mindset that he brings into the gym, into business. It is going to be a blasty blast in Tulsa, Jerusalem. Folks, I'm telling you, if you want to learn branding, you want to learn marketing, you want to learn search engine optimization, you want to learn social media marketing, that's what we teach at the Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive workshop. If you want to learn accounting, you want to learn sales systems, you want to learn how to build a linear workflow, you want to learn how to franchise your business, that is what we teach at the 2-day interactive Thrivetime Show business workshop. Over the years, we've had the opportunity to feature Michael Levine, the PR consultant of choice for Nike, for Prince, for Michael Jackson. We've had the top PR consultant in the history of the planet has spoken at the Thrivetime Show workshops. We've had Jill Donovan, the founder of RusticCuff.com, a company that creates apparel worn by
by celebrities all throughout the world. Jill Donovan, the founder of RusticCuff.com, has spoken at the two-day interactive Thrivetime Show business workshops. We have had the man who's responsible for turning around Harley Davidson, a man by the name of Ken Schmidt. He has spoken at the Thrivetime Show two-day interactive business workshops. Folks, I'm telling you, these events are going to teach you what you need to know to start and grow a successful business. And the way we price the events, the way we do these events, is you can pay $250 for a ticket or whatever price that you can afford. What? Yes, we've designed these events to be affordable for you, and we want to see you live and in person at the two-day interactive December 5th and 6th Thrivetime Show Business Workshop. Everything that you need to succeed will be taught at the two-day interactive Thrivetime Show Business Workshop, December 5th and 6th in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And the way we do these events is we teach for 30 minutes, and then we open it up for a question and answer session so that wonderful people like you can have your questions answered. Yes, we teach for 30 minutes, and then we open it up for a 15-minute question and answer session. It's interactive. It's 2 days. It's in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We've been doing these events since 2005, and I'm telling you, folks, it's going to blow your mind. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Thrivetime Show two-day interactive business workshop is America's highest rated and most reviewed business workshop. See the thousands of video testimonials from real people just like you who've been able to build multi-million-dollar companies. Watch those testimonials today at thrivetimeshow.com. Simply by clicking on the testimonials button right there at thrivetimeshow.com, you're going to see thousands of people just like you who've been able to go from just surviving to thriving. Whoa. Each and every day, we're going to add more and more speakers to this all-star lineup, but I encourage everybody out there today, get those tickets today. Go to thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's thrivetimeshow.com. And some people might be saying, well, how do I do it? What do I do? How does it work? You just go to thrivetimeshow.com. Let's go there now. We're feeling the flow. We're going to thrivetimeshow.com. Again, you just go to thrivetimeshow.com. You click on the business conferences button, and you click on the request tickets button right there. The way I do our conferences is we tell people it's $250 to get a ticket.
Yep.
Or whatever price that you can afford. And the reason why I do that is I grew up without money. JT, you're in the process of building a super successful company.
Yep.
You start out with $1 million in the bank account?
No, I did not. Nope, did not get any loans, nothing like that. Did not get an inheritance from parents or anything like that. I had to work for it, and I'm super grateful. I came to a business conference. That's actually how I met you, met Peter Taunton. I met all these people.
So if you're out there today and you want to come to our workshop, again, you just got to go to thrivetimeshow.com. You might say, well, who's speaking? We already covered that. You might say, where's it going to be? It's going to be in Tulsa, Jerusalem, Oklahoma. And someone says, Tulsa, Jerusalem. I'm really trying to rebrand Tulsa as Tulsa, Jerusalem, sort of like the Jerusalem of America. But if you type in Thrivetime Show and Jinx, you can get a sneak peek or a look at our office facility. This is what it looks like. This is where you're headed. It's going to be a blasty blast. You can look inside, see the facility. We're going to have hundreds of entrepreneurs here. It is going to be packed. Now, for this particular event, folks, the seating is always limited because my facility isn't a limitless convention center. You're coming to my actual home office, and so it's going to be packed. Who? You're going to come. Who? You? I'm talking to you. You can just get your tickets right now at thrivetimeshow.com. And again, you can name your price. We tell people it's $250 or whatever price you can afford. And we do have some select VIP tickets, which gives you an access to meet some of the speakers and those sorts of things. And those tickets are $500. It's a 2-day interactive business workshop, over 20 hours of business training. We're going to give you a copy of my newest book, The Millionaire's Guide to Becoming Sustainably Rich. You're going to leave with a workbook. You're going to leave with everything you need to know to start and grow a super successful company. It's practical, it's actionable, and it's Tebow time right here in Tulsa, Jerusalem. Get those tickets today at thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's thrivetimeshow.com.
Hello, I'm Michael Levine, and I'm talking to you right now from the center of Hollywood, California, where I have represented over the last 35 years 58 Academy Award winners, 34 Grammy Award winners, 43 New York Times bestsellers. I've represented a lot of major stars, and I've worked with a lot of major companies. And I think I've learned a few things about what makes them work and what makes them not work. Now, why would a man living in Hollywood, California, in the beautiful sunny weather of LA, come to Tulsa? Because last year I did it, and it was damn exciting. Clay Clark has put together an exceptional presentation, really life-changing. and I'm looking forward to seeing you then. I'm Michael Levine. I'll see you in Tulsa.
Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the world's highest rated and most reviewed business workshops because we teach you what you need to know to grow.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot-coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.
And now you may be thinking, what does it actually cost to attend an in-person 2-day interactive Thrivetime Show business workshop? Well, good news. The tickets are $250 or whatever price that you can afford. What? Yes, they're $250 or whatever price you can afford. I grew up without money, and I know what it's like to live without money. So if you're out there today and you want to attend our in-person 2-day interactive business workshop, all you got to do is go to thrivetimeshow.com to request those tickets. And if you can't afford $250, we have scholarship pricing available to make it affordable for you.
I learned at the Academy in Kings Point in New York. Acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
Whoa. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad Radio Show. Today I'm broadcasting from Phoenix, Arizona, not Scottsdale, Arizona. They're close, but they're completely different worlds. And we have a special guest today. Definition of intelligence is if you agree with me, you're intelligent. And so this gentleman is very intelligent. I've done his show before also, but very seldom do you find somebody who lines up on all counts. And it's a Mr. Clay Clark. He's a friend of a good friend, Eric Trump. But we're also talking about money, bricks, and how screwed up the world can get in a few and a half hour. So Clay Clark is a very intelligent man, and there's so many ways we could take this thing. But I thought, since you and Eric are close, Trump, what you're saying about what Trump can't, what Donald, who's my age, and I can say or cannot say.
First of all, I have to honor you, sir. I want to show you what I did to one of your books here. There's a guy by the name of Jeremy Thorne, who was my boss at the time. I was 19 years old, working at Faith Highway. I had a job at Applebee's, Target, and DirecTV. And he said, have you read this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad? And I said, no. And my father, may he rest in peace, he didn't know these financial principles. So I started reading all of your books and really devouring your books. And I went from being an employee to self-employed to the business owner to the investor. And I owe a lot of that to you. And I just wanted to take a moment to tell you thank you so much for allowing me to achieve success. And then I'll tell you all about Eric Trump. But I just want to tell you thank you, sir, for changing my life.
But not only that, Clay, thank you, but you become an influencer. More than anything else, you've evolved into an influencer where your word has more and more power. So that's why congratulate you on becoming. Because as you know, there's a lot of fake influencers out there too, or bad influencers.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm glad you and I agree so much, and thanks for reading my books.
Yeah.
That's the greatest thrill for me today. Not a thrill, but recognition is when people, young men especially, come up and say, I read your book, changed my life, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
Whoa.